You're very welcome back to Red Business in Focus, with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices. We are meeting the personalities behind Cork's ambitious businesses. And this week, we've got David Moore of Viska in the spotlight. David will be filling us in on how they became advanced automation specialists in the areas of machine vision, robotics and lab view development. I have very little idea what any of that means, but he'll tell us a little bit about it. And he's also going to introduce us to the world's smallest industrial robot, who he has brought with him as well. David, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
This is the world's smallest industrial robot.
It is indeed, yeah.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm intrigued and quite possibly a little excited by a robot. But like everyone else who comes on, you have 30 seconds to tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
Excellent. So, my name is David Moore. I am the CEO of Viska Systems. Viska Systems is a specialist automation company in three specialist areas: machine vision, robotics and software development. So what we like to say is that we can make intelligent automation that can move, think and see. And as we have here today, we have some robotics that takes care of the moving. The seeing part comes from machine vision cameras like so. And then we have software development, which makes everything think together.
Okay, very good. You didn't need the 30 seconds. You got a good explanation in there in under 30 seconds. Well done, you. So it's all very high tech, if I can put it that way. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this space. I'm presuming there's an education involved.
Yeah, so my background is actually mechanical engineering originally, and then I was lucky enough to work in industry and I was doing my PhD at the same time. So I kind of ended up with an interdisciplinary kind of background. So as part of that, going back a number of years ago, spotted a gap in the market where we were going to have, let's say, increasingly small parts made, and there is only some ways to make these parts. So we have to integrate the visual sense with the motion sense, and that's really where the kind of background of the company came from.
I'm presuming it's the kind of technology that would have been absolutely bonkers mad, cutting edge 10, 15 years ago, but has become a little bit more mainstream now, and you're finding new applications with that advance of technology.
That's really true, actually. I would say, you know, in some ways it still is very, very new into industry. It's been, let's say, in academia for a while. The use of things like artificial intelligence, you might have heard of, more increasingly in use. And I suppose where we're doing that is we're taking that from, say, being very new and applying it in real world situations. Yeah,
so tell us what this little lad does here now. He's not plugged in, so he's not going to do anything too dramatic.
He's not going to move today.
What does this fella do when he has a good wind behind him?
Yeah, so this particular robot, it's the world's smallest industrial robot. It weighed only about 4.5 kilos. And this is an example of something we would integrate. So we would purchase this from our supply chain partner, which is Mecademic, and we would integrate that into systems. So as part of that, we have some products that we use, and we would use this to move the parts relative to our camera and be able to inspect the products with the camera then.
So in other words, it reaches the parts that other parts can't reach?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And in what sphere can we use this type of technology? Because I mean, I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking car part manufacturing line. It looks like the same kind of arm that would be used to put a car together, but on a much smaller scale. Is that the kind of application for it?
Yeah, so that's it. We also work with larger robots as well. So we serve a variety of industries. So for example, we work in automotive, as you refer to. Medical device will be a big area for us. Semiconductor and electronics, and also food and beverage. So it's a variety of kind of manufacturing situations you can use these technologies in. And
this technology is not replacing humans, it's augmenting humans as we go along, and it's doing some of the things that free up humans to do other things, isn't it?
That's a really good point. And it's a really common misconception, actually, that we're replacing humans, because for most of our customers have become actually more competitive when they kind of implement these technologies. So actually what we find is that most people just change the job or change what they're doing, because humans are really hard to automate. We're really good at visual perception and things like that. So we can't automate humans fully at all, but there are certain situations where this might perform a job that's very repetitive for humans, for example.
Now, I don't mean to offend anyone here, but when I think high-end robotics, I wouldn't necessarily have thought Buttevant, but yet here you are running a high-end robotic company from Buttevant.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, the internet has brought everywhere closer, hasn't it? And I suppose we actually have customers globally in the US as well, in particular, and the UK as well, some in Japan, and of course Ireland, and we serve all of them from Buttevant, as you referred. And yeah, you know, the internet means we can support all of these technologies remotely as well. So
and you've had support as well getting that online business up and running. Probably, again, 10, 15 years ago, mightn't have been able to do it. Now, because of the supports that are there and the help that you've gotten, you've been able to grow the business internationally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you know, I would say we've had some really good help along the way, and you meet some really good people. So, like the local enterprise office have been really, really helpful for us in that not only have they provided some kind of funding and grants in that sense, but they've also been able to provide mentorship and access to mentors, and that is really a critical thing to have. It's really critical to be able to build on the experience of people who have done you know, growing a tech company from the ground up before.
Yeah, I mean, you're a husband and wife team. Enrique's your wife. She's not with us today, but the two of you work very well together in growing the business out.
Yeah, we do. You know, we're well balanced. Enrique's background wouldn't actually be tech herself, so she brings a nice balance to the team. She'd be more international communications.
Okay.
And by doing that, then we kind of have a good synergy going. So we're growing.
So
the
you
team.
Play with the robots and she sells.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. What happens next? Where do you go with this? I mean, presumably it's just going to continue to grow, and there's going to be new applications, and you guys have started in and gotten in at the ground level.
For sure. You know, I think we're at the infancy of automation still. There's only one way that industry is going to go, which is up more and more. And I think it's a very exciting time to be involved in it because there's whole new applications coming online. We're at quite an interesting stage, I would say, in that we're at a point where the low-hanging fruit has been automated already. So the things that are easy to automate are already kind of getting automated. And we're at a stage now where more flexible manufacturing is required. That brings its own challenges, and that we're really at the kind of step of that. So we're hoping to grow on the back of that. Okay, so certainly an area that's going to keep growing in the years ahead. If people are looking to find out a little bit more, what's the website? www.viska.ie. That's viska.ie.
David Moore of Viska, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.